This year has been a difficult eventful, easily one of the most eventful since the COVID days. We saw Joker 2 take a nosedive, Madam Web claimed the title of the worst superhero movie ever, and trash like Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2. But on the flip side, Marvel's Jesus brought new life into its universe. We got an epic sci-fi masterpiece. The Alien franchise made a huge comeback, and we even got the first animated Transformers movie. 2024 really brought its A-game with some amazing films, so let's jump into the best movies of the year. Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. This one definitely deserved a spot on this list. Adam Wingard outduns himself again, capturing the hearts of kaiju fans everywhere with his obvious passion for both Godzilla and Kong, along with their rich histories. First off, the CGI was spot on, giving the monsters real personality, lifelike movements, and that perfect touch of cartoonish flair the film was aiming for. It felt like the Showa era was revived, as Godzilla continues his mission to keep balance in the world, stopping both titans and humans from throwing nature off track, while Kong embarks on his quest to find a new home in the Hollow Earth. The monster designs, both old and new, were absolutely stunning. Kong definitely steals the show in terms of character. He feels like a lone warrior navigating hostile territory, reminding me of characters like Conan the Barbarian, Mad Max, or The Man with No Name. His almost human-like personality shines through, balancing his tough side with moments of tenderness, making him so relatable. The film even gives us several monster-only sequences, which was great because it lets us connect with them on a more personal level. While Godzilla's role is a bit smaller, he's still essential to the story, especially as we uncover the origins of his kind and their role as guardians. The explanation behind his drastic appearance change was brilliant and a great nod to his 1999-2000 design, tying it all together. We also see that beneath his cold-blooded exterior, Godzilla has a gentle side and is incredibly intelligent. Such a fascinating character. Seeing Titans from the graphic novels pop up in the movie was a treat, and while they might not all be considered canonical, it's nice to see those stories linked to the films. The new monsters, like the Scar King, bring a serious level of threat that rivals even King Ghidorah. And with Kong now facing new enemies, it's going to be exciting to see where his journey goes. The human story in the film was kept to a minimum, allowing for pure kaiju action, exactly what I was hoping for. Yet there's just enough of a story to keep things engaging and expand the MonsterVerse lore. It's clear that the true stars of this film are Godzilla and Kong. Challengers. I'll just say it, Challengers isn't quite as sexy as it's been hyped up to be, but you know what? I'm not mad about it. The film knows exactly what it is, and that's a ridiculously catchy pop song. What I really like about Challengers is how unabashedly goofy it is. Director Luca Guadagnino and his three leads, Zendaya, Josh O'Connor, and Mike Faist, are clearly having a blast, and it shows. Guadagnino goes all out with wild camera movements, a pulsating score by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, and some seriously over-the-top food innuendos. The more seriously these characters take tennis, especially when it comes to control and rigidity, the more the movie makes it all seem utterly ridiculous. It's fun, it's cheeky, and it doesn't try to be anything more than that. Transformers 1. This may be just the best entry in the Transformers franchise yet, surpassing even the beloved 2007 original and the highly regarded Bumblebee. While the film is especially impactful for longtime fans who have seen all the previous Transformers films, it's still very accessible and enjoyable for casual viewers who haven't seen a single Transformers movie before. The story is easy to follow, and newcomers can dive right in without feeling lost. The film's plot is full of unexpected twists and emotional moments, making it an engaging watch from start to finish. One of the most exciting aspects of Transformers 1 is that it's entirely set on Cybertron, without any human characters. This focus on what fans truly want to see, Transformers, makes for a refreshing change, offering an immersive experience that dives deeper into the world of Cybertron and its inhabitants. The animation is stunning. Easily some of the most gorgeous and unique visuals ever seen in a Transformers movie. The artistic direction is top-notch, creating a vibrant and captivating world that feels both alien and familiar. Another concern going into the film was the new voice cast, especially with major roles like Optimus Prime and Megatron being recast. However, Brian Tyree Henry and Chris Hemsworth completely exceed expectations. Hemsworth in particular nails the voice and personality of Optimus, and by the end of the movie, you can fully believe that his portrayal has become the Optimus Prime fans know and love. As the movie progresses, his performance gradually feels even more like the iconic leader, making his transformation feel authentic and seamless. Despite its relatively short runtime of about 90 minutes, the film moves at a brisk pace, balancing action with character development. The growth of both Optimus, Orion Pax, and Megatron feels organic, with Megatron's motivations being fully explored and making sense within the story. By the end of the movie, Optimus's rise to leadership feels earned, and you can clearly see the path to him becoming the leader we recognize from the Michael Bay films. The third act is particularly powerful, with multiple scenes and moments that will leave Transformers fans emotionally invested. The heartbreaking turn in the relationship between Optimus and Megatron, who are initially shown as brothers, makes their eventual fall into enemies all the more tragic. Their friendship, once so genuine, feels all the more painful as it unravels. While the movie excels in many areas, there are a few minor drawbacks. Some jokes fall flat, and Scarlett Johansson's voice acting, while competent, can occasionally be distracting as her recognizable voice takes over the character. Additionally, the first half of the movie feels slightly weaker than the second half, which builds momentum and really hits its emotional stride. Despite these small issues, Transformers 1 is an outstanding addition to the franchise. It's an emotional, visually stunning, and well-crafted film that will appeal to both hardcore Transformers fans and newcomers alike. If you're familiar with the Transformers universe, this film is an absolute must-watch. Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga. Furiosa is a wild, adrenaline-fueled ride that not only lives up to the Mad Max legacy, but might just surpass it. At 79, George Miller shows he's still the king of action cinema, delivering a prequel that's as explosive as it is meaningful. Nearly 45 years after the original Mad Max, this film digs deep into the origin story of Furiosa, Charlize Theron's unforgettable character from Fury Road. Alila Brown and Anya Taylor-Joy both shine as Furiosa, seamlessly portraying her journey from a young survivor to a battle-hardened warrior we know. The story unfolds in 5 distinct stages, each packed with emotions and raw action, giving us a rich glimpse into her past while expanding the gritty, desolate world she inhabits. What makes Furiosa exceptional is how it enhances the Mad Max universe. It's more than a prequel, it's a world-building masterpiece. Familiar settings like Gastown and Bullet Farm come alive with more detail, while new culture and survival emerge, making the post-apocalyptic wasteland even more immersive. Chris Hemsworth is a scene stealer as Dementus, a biker gang leader with both charisma and menace. It's easily one of his best performances. The film's stunts, visual effects, and sound design are just great, keeping pace with, and sometimes outdoing, the spectacle of Fury Road. Every roar of an engine and every insane chase scene pulls you further into the chaos. Beyond the action, Furiosa dives into themes of power, identity, and survival, balancing philosophical depth with relentless thrills. It's the kind of movie that demands to be seen on the biggest screen possible. Simply put, Furiosa is an action-packed triumph that cements George Miller's legacy. Whether you're here for the backstory or just the chaos, this is one wasteland adventure you don't want to miss. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Breathtaking, sinister, and treacherous. If it looks like a snake, it's definitely a snake. This reboot saga delivers masterful storytelling and epic twists while keeping the gaslighting going strong. The visuals alone are worth the watch. From lifelike CGI to lush heavy greenery reclaiming the earth, every frame is stunning. Watching it in IMAX felt otherworldly. New Earth is absolutely mind-blowing. Picture this: red corroded tankers stranded on beaches, eerie vines swallowing skyscrapers, abandoned tunnels, and crumbling human artifacts set against devolving humans. The cinematography by Gyula Pados is spectacular, capturing nature's grandeur and resilience as it takes back what was lost after humanity's apocalypse. It's a stark reminder: Earth doesn't need us, we're just visitors. The film explores this idea beautifully, showing how nature will repurpose and thrive long after humans are gone. The story dives deep into the ape society, full of politics, propaganda, and moral questions. Can a civilization modeled after human behavior sustain itself? The film isn't afraid to ask hard questions about power, survival, and the right to rule. While some choices about the apes' humanization might feel over the top, the filmmaker's vision is clear. Sure, many will get caught up in the charm of cool apes with human vibes, but don't miss the film's deeper themes. At its core, this story is about survival. Tribe against tribe, species against species, it mirrors humanity's own history of conflict and war. Alien Romulus. Alien Romulus did for the Alien franchise what Prey did for Predator. It brought it back to life in the best way possible. I'll admit I was a bit nervous going in. I love this franchise, and every new installment feels like a gamble. Would it mess up the already delicate alien lore? Thankfully, this movie didn't just respect the legacy, it felt like it had always been part of it, seamlessly fitting into the universe. The grungy cosmic horror vibes are spot on. It's dark, retro, gritty, and chilling, just like Alien and Aliens. The movie doesn't just recreate the essence of those classics, it expands on them. The look at life on a Weyland-Yutani mining colony gives some intriguing world building, and the new twists on the xenomorphs are both fresh and exciting. The cast absolutely delivers. Kaylee Spaney and David Johnson steal the show, but every performance is fantastic. The fear feels real, and speaking of fear, this movie is genuinely terrifying. It's not just creepy or reliant on cheap jump scares. Instead, it nails that slow burn, blood-chilling horror that lingers long after the scene ends. Of course, no movie is perfect, and Alien Romulus has a few hiccups. There's one attempt at Marvel-style humor that completely misses the mark, cringeworthy to say the least. And for the die-hard fans, there are a couple of moments of heavy fan service that might feel like a mixed bag. One is obvious. Kaylee Spaney's character, Rain, often mirrors Ripley in both looks and demeanor. While Ripley is an iconic character and Rain is fantastic in her own right, a bit more individuality would have been nice. That said, the pacing is on point, and the sound design is pure nightmare fuel, tense, chilling, and totally nerve-wracking. The cinematography? Absolutely stunning. Whoever handled the lighting deserves a massive bonus because the visual atmosphere is one of the film's strongest aspects. Overall, Alien Romulus delivers a smart plot, stellar acting, and genuine scares. It's gripping, terrifying, and a worthy addition to a beloved franchise. Despite its minor flaws, it's a must-watch for fans of the genre. The Wild Robot. This one was a heartfelt and beautiful family film. In The Wild Robot, the peaceful balance of a remote island is thrown into chaos by the arrival of Rosim 7134, a robot created to help humans with their tasks. But there's one problem: there are no humans on the island. With no clear purpose, Roz teaches herself the island's animal languages and finds new meaning when she saves a goose egg from a fox named Fink. The egg hatches into a baby gosling, Brightbill, who imprints on her, and Roz becomes his mother, guiding him through the challenges of surviving the wild and finding his place in the flock. Chris Sanders, known for his work on How to Train Your Dragon, brings The Wild Robot to life with stunning animation and a beautifully emotional score by Chris Bowers. The vibrant, painterly visuals are a treat, creating a world that feels rich, full of life, and truly magical. The animation is complemented by a soundtrack that elevates the film's emotional weight, pulling viewers of all ages into the story. While the movie has its share of slapstick and kid-friendly humor, including plenty of amusing animal antics, it's also got a surprisingly dark sense of humor. Some of the animal deaths, played for laughs, may shock viewers, but they land surprisingly well. The deeper themes of motherhood and survival are what make this film resonate across generations. It's a movie that will be loved differently at different stages of life. The voice cast is exceptional, with standout performances from Bill Nighy as Longneck the Elder Goose, Mark Hamill as Thorn the menacing grizzly bear, and Catherine O'Hara as a possum mother obsessed with death. However, it's Lupita Nyong'o who steals the show. Her portrayal of Roz, a robot who evolves from a task-driven machine into a fully realized mother figure, is nothing short of remarkable. Despite not being able to show facial expressions, Nyong'o brings Roz's emotional journey to life through her voice alone, giving warmth to the character. Roz's arc, centered on motherhood, is deep and mature for a family movie. Parents will find themselves discussing the challenges of parenting with their kids after watching it, especially as Roz's bond with Brightbill grows. Brightbill's journey, too, speaks to children, delivering a meaningful message about finding oneself and staying true to who you are. The movie's action-packed climax might follow familiar tropes, but it's the emotional core of the film that makes it stand out, tying everything together in a way that will leave audiences cheering through tears. Deadpool and Wolverine. I waited over 2 years for this cinematic masterpiece to finally hit theaters as the ultimate Deadpool movie, and it totally blew my expectations out of the water, way beyond just a clever joke or two. There were a couple of surprise cameos, some major comebacks, most notably Wolverine, and I was seriously impressed by how well Hugh Jackman brought the character back. The new characters were fantastic, especially given everything that led up to this amazing film. Also, big shout out to the 20th Century Fox universe. Your nostalgia is well represented here, even if you're about to be altered for good. Sorry, Blue Sky Studios. The cinematography really balanced the serious moments, gory violence, and Deadpool's classic humor in a way that still had me laughing even after the third watch. And of course, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman absolutely crushed it as the leads. As for the main antagonist, I wasn't too bothered by Cassandra Nova, who I thought was just another version of Mobius for a second, ended up stealing the show for me. The emotional weight was there, and the fight scenes were a blast, especially with all the returning characters. And can we talk about the costumes? Deadpool and Wolverine's outfits were such a nice nod to the comic book looks from the late 30s. It's such a satisfying touch. The music and soundtrack were also on point, especially when they threw back to the earlier Deadpool films. The Deadpool 3 NSYNC scene became one of the most talked about moments in the film, and for good reason. Set to the iconic NSYNC track Bye Bye Bye, this unexpected dance sequence is a perfect blend of Deadpool's signature humor and 90s nostalgia. The scene does more than just entertain, it taps into a cultural moment. The 90s, which have been making a huge comeback in TV, movies, and fashion, are the perfect backdrop for this comedic moment. By choosing a song that everyone knows and loves, Deadpool 3 not only offers a laugh, but also connects with viewers on a more emotional level. The choreography is one of the highlights. Deadpool's goofy dance moves are a hilarious take on NSYNC's original routine with a twist. Interestingly, it wasn't Ryan Reynolds pulling off those slick moves, but professional dancer Nick Pauli. Music has always been a key part of Deadpool's charm, but the NSYNC dance sequence takes this idea even further, transforming a simple song into a standout moment. It's playful, absurd, and even a little heartwarming, all qualities that define Deadpool as a character. Overall, along with that opening sequence, this movie is a true magnum opus. It's breathtaking, and for sure surpasses its predecessors and keeps you entertained in every other moment of the film. Dune Part 2. Isn't it amazing when the most hyped blockbusters actually live up to expectations? Just like last year's Barbie and Oppenheimer, Denis Villeneuve's Dune Part 2 delivers exactly what you'd hope for from a property as legendary and tricky as Frank Herbert's classic. For years, I've dreamed of seeing Herbert's masterpiece properly adapted, but it always felt like an impossible challenge until this movie. Dune Part 2 turns that dream into a breathtaking reality. This isn't just a movie, it's a monumental sci-fi action event that feels destined to resonate for generations. It's nothing short of a masterclass in filmmaking, raising the bar for science fiction adaptations. Honestly, I'd say it might even be in the running for the greatest sci-fi film ever made. It stands shoulder to shoulder with all-time classics like The Matrix, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Interstellar, Blade Runner, and even the Star Wars original trilogy. You can spot nods to Gladiator, Kubrick's 2001, and the brilliance of Citizen Kane, making it a blend of everything we love about epic cinema. Visually, this is a masterpiece. Villeneuve takes the awe-inspiring work of Greg Fraser's cinematography and creates something utterly jaw-dropping. It's the kind of film where your jaw stays glued to the floor from start to finish. It's darker, fresher, and somehow manages to enhance the brilliance of the first movie while standing on its own as a sci-fi spectacle. Much like Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer, Dune Part 2 feels like the culmination of Villeneuve's career, a cinematic triumph that combines extraordinary visuals with an incredible story. It's the best sci-fi blockbuster we've seen in at least a decade, a true work of art that will leave audiences spellbound. Hans Zimmer delivers what he does best: pulse-pounding rhythmic compositions and intense chant-filled march drum themes. My favorite track? a time of quiet between the storms. It's not just a musical masterpiece, it's the emotional heartbeat of the film, perfectly capturing the love story of Paul Atreides and Chani. Even more impressive, it mirrors their growth and development throughout the story. Dune Part 2 takes everything great about the first film and cranks it up. The stakes? Massive. The power struggles? Epic. The world building? Richer and more intricately detailed than ever. And the visuals? Pure art, dazzling in every sense of the word. Austin Butler absolutely owns his villain era as Fade Routha, delivering one of the best character performances I've ever seen. He's pure chaos. Florence Pugh shines like royalty, and Christopher Walken and Anya Taylor-Joy absolutely nail their cameos. And let's talk about that final battle scene with the sphere. How on earth was that shot? Honestly, that's my reaction to about 90% of the visuals in both Dune films. The cinematography is phenomenal, easily setting a new standard for modern blockbusters. Dune Part 2 feels like the kind of big, sweeping storytelling we haven't seen since the Lord of the Rings trilogy. If you're diving in, I highly recommend watching Part 1 and Part 2 back-to-back for the full experience. This duology is a mix of tragedy, conquest, legend, and Messiah-level storytelling. Denis Villeneuve, we're ready for Dune Messiah. Just hand over the Oscars now. This masterpiece has them in the bag. Well, that's it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates on this and other exciting upcoming movies. We'll see you next time.